Hey, this is Arsene from Rambling Rican back with part... where am I anyway? I think I'm in part 8? Okay, let me see. Part 1 was traveling to Japan. Part 2 was traveling to Machida from the airport to Machida. And then part 3 was getting from the hotel to Sasuke and early registration stuff. And then, part 4, part 5, and part 6 were all the rest of day 1. That was that big long video. And then the part 7 was day 2 of the rest of stage 1. So we are still in day 2 of Sasuke 32, and I'm doing stage 2 and 3 because trust me, there's not much on both of them, and these are the least amount of photos that I have taken for obvious reasons. I think I would have been thrown out if I took a whole bunch of photos from there and posted them, of course. So anyway, from the last time, to give an example, this was of course taken right after the first stage. And everyone remembers, this is the first time they've ever had a first stage still run into the second day. So they now had to do, oh my god, stage 2. So meanwhile, I'm still running around with the All-Stars saying goodbye to Nagano. He's signing my cup for Griffin, taking photos. Everybody and their mother were taking photos because Nagano was about to leave. And then so we're at the card, they're saying goodbye, everything else. And so I'm taking photos and yada yada. And then all of a sudden there's like an announcement like, dude, everyone is sitting down in the second stage. If you're gonna go to the second stage, you better do it now or we're locking you out because it's gonna be disruptive. And we're like, oh crap. I mean, that included Yuji, that included, actually, I don't think Shingo stayed. All the All-Stars basically all just said, goodbye, everybody got in the cars and they left. And then the rest of the Shin Sedai who, most of them were not competing because they had just been eliminated, or some even eliminated the night before. All of a sudden we just kind of all left and we all went en masse. Now, I was starting to panic because last year I was with the rest of the people in the bleachers, not necessarily the lottery, but like the people that sit in the bleachers. And I'm like, and where do I go now? So I look over and then they point over to Perry going, you're with Perry. And it didn't even occur to me because I'm with Perry, which means for the very first time, I am sitting with like the VIP section. I didn't know what to do with myself. So I get there and there's like nobody there. What I mean by that, when I looked to my left, there was everybody in the audience. They were already sitting down. They're getting their instructions by the production crew. Everybody's got their cameras up and whatever. But the section that had like chairs were the family members and friends of the people that are competing. Because remember, there's only 8 people now. So there's vastly less amount of people. So half of them were foreigners and the other half were Japanese, and not many of them brought a lot of people. So that VIP section was very small, which was unusual. So I get over there, and of course I'm speaking English to everybody because half of them were, half of them are English speakers. So it was weird. So I sat down. I'm like, I am staying quiet. I'm just trying to keep. So I snapped a couple pictures, and these are the only ones that I have. I talked a little bit to Mori and his wife Tomoko Kaneda, which everybody knows is so excited, 1 month to go. She was Chiyo-chan from Azumanga Daioh, so if anybody has any idea what I'm talking about, look at my other Rambling Rican in Japan, especially the ones from last year. And so, it was so cute. They're like, oh, how are you doing? Because, they were, especially his wife, they're famous. So, whether he's from Sports Danchi, but more importantly, she's famous, so you can't quite get close to her, especially in this situation. So I'm just kind of sitting here and whatever. So we sit down, taking photos, everybody's talking to each other, waiting for production to start, and I'm like looking around, making sure that I wasn't gonna get thrown out, and everybody seemed chill, and I'm like, okay, I'm sitting in the VIP. I have no idea how I got here. Thanks, Perry. And more importantly, thanks TBS, because I didn't kind of make that connection when they said, you stay with Perry. That meant I stayed with Perry wherever he went. And so it was like, okay, right. bonus. I didn't know I was gonna be here. So it was weird. So one nice thing is that because that area is not like recorded or anything, you're not gonna see me on camera, which is fine because second stage kind of didn't end up on TV anyway. And so it kind of did. People ask me about how the second stage was. It was just as boring to watch. Now what's interesting is it wasn't like that last year. And even this year, we're looking around and it's like, wow, everything looks kind of the same. Look at, they put the conveyor belt? Wow, that's a blast from the past. And then I started seeing some of the competitors, like some of the sheens that I come back, like they added 15 seconds. I'm like, what? It's like, yes, they added 15 seconds from last year. So everyone, you had like this, it was like this collective groan. And so the unofficial rumor was, well, I guess they want people to pass to the third stage. And we're like, it was a bit of a letdown, at least for us, and it did feel that way. So whether that was the reason or not, I don't know. I don't ask those things. It's kind of rude. I was just trying to stay as low as possible, going, I ain't gonna get myself thrown out of here. But once they got through, and I'm looking at how fast freaking Anastas went, Anastas started laughing. It's like, dude, like, I'm not really in shape this year. I don't know how the heck I ended up in the third stage. This is gonna be embarrassing. So he's coming. It was funny because I spent a lot of time with his family. I met them last year when we were doing the interview, his interview before the third stage last year. So it was so cute because I recognized him immediately. So when they first came in on the first day, it's like, hey, how you doing? And so they were just excited because people know who he is. And throughout the year, especially my friends in Japan, they all kept in contact. So it wasn't like, hey, how you doing? And then I won't see him. It was like, we spend a lot of time with them. And he's really, really friendly. His family's adorable. I can't say adopted, it's his fiance's family. I love them. They're the sweetest people on the planet. So they're like, hey, okay, ganbatte. So we sat down and so we started seeing how fast he was going, and he said he wasn't really in really good shape. And I'm like, wow, that's out of shape. Damn. That was really good. So as I started seeing other people go, and we had like this unofficial time in our head going, okay, I think maybe one person might have timed out, possibly two. Oh my god, this is too high. So by the time we got halfway through, I mean, there were only 8 of them anyway. It was like, okay, just go through the motions. Heck, I think, if someone like Morimoto was there, he probably would have taken a sandwich break in the middle of it because it was so long. But it was just weird. I guess the benefit out of that is that they went through, they did it really quickly, and then immediately it's like, go, 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 go. Because remember, the second day is supposed to be the third and fourth stages. They still had to do the first and second stages, so production was like, get out, just move. So I guess the only good thing is that, the slaughter that happened in the first stage that just eliminated so many people, I guess turned out to benefit because, great, we didn't have to worry about that. We were still worried about we knew it was supposed to rain. Before I left the hotel, I went to check the forecast. And the forecast said that it was going to arrive like 2-3 o'clock in the morning. And then so I get there, and then so I ask him, when is the rain? He goes, midnight. It's coming at midnight. Oh crap. And so we're trying to move. They're like, okay, just go, go. And so that's what was happening. So as soon as it was done, now remember, I'm seeing behind me, they're dismantling the first stage. The sign, half the sign was gone. And by the end of the second stage, I went over because you can see, when you walk around, you're basically parallel to the first stage when you're running the third stage. And you look over, I'm like, oh my god, the Sasuke sign's gone. Somebody jacked the Sasuke sign. I was sitting there laughing like, oh my, wow, damn. it was kind of anticlimactic because I kind of wanted to take a photo. So now I understand when like the All-Stars took photos of the first stage, they showed it from the opposite direction. It's because they were jacking the sign when that was happening. It was so funny. It never occurred to me until afterwards because there was so much going on and everybody's like trying to move along, and then so I'll just look over, I'm like, wow, half these things are gone. That thing's gone. Wow, okay, they took out all the hanging obstacles. Ooh, okay, right. So by the time we finally go over, we were the last ones to be moved. So they moved the lottery people first. They moved the whoever was in the stands first because that's the most disruptive. And they always, I've been in that little cattle line, and they kind of pull you through and then get you over to the other side. I'm not entirely sure if they were a different group because there should have been. When you do the lottery, you actually pick your slots. You pick whether you be in the first half of the first stage, second half of the first stage, second stage, third stage, fourth stage. So I would assume that they were dealing with all the day 2 people, so they had to, honor that. But if the other day 2 people were still third stage, I don't know how that worked out. Either way, they managed to do that. They moved everybody over, and then they said, just kind of wait here and then just kind of move over later. I was like, okay, so we saw everybody had already sitting down. You hear, people testing the first couple obstacles and whatever, and the next, they were doing some minor tweaks back and forth and moving all the cameras over, and then finally we go over and they're like, where are we gonna sit? And then realize, oh, okay, so then we ended up, people grabbed some chairs, moved them over, and then that was where our little VIP section, all the way at the end. So I was in the complete opposite side. I was towards the, in fact, I was right in front of the transition between the vertical limit and the pipe slider, which was perfect because I can just see the ultra crazy cliffhanger just moving up and down and up and down. A funny story about that. So we get over there, and how we got, I was again trying to be as quiet as possible, but you couldn't go behind it because remember it had rained the last couple of days, so everything's kind of swampy, so they're trying to walk us through wherever clean flooring there was. And so I had to stand, walk and luckily we walked as a small group. I was with Anastasia's family, my own group, Perry's group, and a couple of the Americans, and we walked in front of the audience, past the announcement booth, past the chairs that were set up for the finalists, and then off towards the end. So, get the chairs out, sit down. But before that happened, we walked the length of the course and we're like right in front of it, which is cool because I actually got to see Keita. Y'all know anybody from the 5 guys that comprise the ultimate unlimited cliffhangers. I still call them Unkli, and that's how it's like Unkri, something like that. I don't know. It's Yuji, Ryo, Yuji, Ryo, no, Matsuda, Yuji, Ryo, Keita, and Keitaro Yamamoto. And so the last 2 were actual testers, and so finally I get to see Keita because he was working all day. I didn't realize. I'm like, oh, hey, how you doing? It was so cool. And so he says, have you seen it yet? And I'm like, no, but I can hear it. You just hear the ring, ring. I'm like, what the hell is that sound? And then you just hear giggling. And so I wasn't sure if there were like, private jokes and whatever. And then I look up and I just burst into laughter going, oh, great. I was thinking they probably added another ledge. Yep, another ledge added. Is it moving up? Yep, it's moving up and down. I'm like, is that like they're testing? No, it's going to continue moving. I'm like, right. So I look over to Drew and he's like, I got this. It was just so funny. They're looking over and it was great because the Americans were right in front of me. So we're like all walking in a row. It was just so funny because everybody was like, this is so ludicrous. So we kept doing jokes because at that particular second we didn't know what the name was. And it was like the super overpowered blah blah blah, because they keep adding to the cliffhanger. First it was cliffhanger, then Shin meaning new cliffhanger, then the ultimate cliffhanger, then the crazy cliffhanger, and then now the ultra crazy. So we were thinking super duper ultra. They were sitting there laughing because they actually understood all of those superlatives, and so we're like super mega ultra dynamic crazy. This was all in English too, all the Japanese doing this. Just giggling that we just like all sat down. And then when we sat down, I didn't realize that they were kind of waiting for us, because again, it was like move, move, move. So we all sat down. It was like feeling damp and whatever. I feel a tap on my shoulder, and it's Mrs. Watara, which is the I say future mother-in-law of Anasta's, and she had like these quilts and stuff like that because it was getting cold. And so like, okay, it's cold. I didn't bring my coat this time because it takes that Sasuke jacket that I wore last year. Thank you, Yube. Oh my god, I love that jacket. But it's big, so I'm thinking, I don't think it's gonna get that cold. No, I really wish I brought it because it was cold and it was damp. So it was like getting like through your clothing, like in your marrow. It was very cold. So I actually at least brought my sweater this time, given what had happened to my poor husband last night. We're like, okay, every piece of clothing I'm gonna try to layer. So I had my sweater. My friends actually had umbrellas that they brought over because we knew it was supposed to rain at some point, and historically you're going 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning sometimes, and so it was supposed to be raining. And we're like, so we're about to take the umbrellas, and immediately they make an announcement: no one take out umbrellas, it looks terrible on television. What? So we were not allowed to bring umbrellas, so we left it in the car. It was like, fine. So we're waiting for them to start, and they make the announcement that they're doing the demonstration. So we finally get to see it. Of course, everybody and their mother, like especially in our VIP section, because we were at the end of the course, and so half of them like move over. I just sat in my seat. I can see it because there was a TV. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the TV screen was behind the Sidewinder. The Sidewinder. So I could still see this. I didn't bother. I just basically, my eyes went from looking down because I couldn't see the drum hopper from where I was. I can see when they dismounted, but I couldn't see the drum hopper. So I'm looking at it through the TV. So one interesting thing that at that particular moment, that's when I knew that nobody was going to pass it, was because they had different people doing different parts of the course. And so they had, apparently, I don't know who that person is. I'm sure somebody in the rock climbing community in Japan knows exactly who this person is. But apparently he was a fairly famous Japanese climber. And he did the combination, the cliffhanger to vertical limit. And he went through, and then you take out the little bag thing with the hands, and and powder up to go across, because apparently for some stupid reason you could not use sticky spray this year. So in fact, it was completely banned from the third stage. I don't know if that would have helped or anything, but somebody came up with that fabulous idea that you can use sticky spray. So we see the rock climber go through and going across, and with actually no issues, and we get to the connection, which is what everybody was looking at. And you can it was funny because you can see like the competitors, especially the ones that were supposed to be doing this, and of course all the Shinseidai behind them, hawking them like crazy, and they're like all muddled in a group, and you like physically see them like move closer, like, how are you gonna do this? And then rock climber dude takes his hand, does the little powder thing on the baggy thing, whatever, wrapped around the, I call it a fanny pack because that's what it looks like. I'm sure y'all climbers just sitting there going, there's an actual name to this, you idiot. But, that's what I saw. It had a fanny pack filled with powder. And so, puts more chalk on his hands and goes on, and then you see the connection. It's nice and slow and whatever, and then get to like the third one, and then like our little group going, nobody's passing this, dude's getting tired. So and of course, I don't know if you noticed this, but the end of the vertical limit is below where the actual what I call the green bar of safety, the bar that you sit on to get ready to go in the pipe slider, that's like way above it. So I see him like throw his leg up, and he's like careening practically backwards, and then it's like, okay, I got this, and I get to the end, and then he stops right on there, and then everybody's like, yay, correct. They were like, they're so screwed. They're so screwed. I distinctly remember Drew walking over, and then he has like his eyes going, that's legit. Then he just goes, okay. And then of course they, walk over to see the rest of the pipe slider, who was done by somebody else entirely. Somebody else got up there and did the pipe slider separately, and it was not the same rock climbing dude. And I'm like, oh, they're so screwed. They're like, yeah. Seems like everybody in TBS wanted the second stage cleared, but definitely not the third. So it was just funny. So all of a sudden, everything slows down. I'm like, what the hell? Why is it that aren't they just doing this? It should be go, go, go. You certainly moved this for everything else. And then so all you hear are I say stupid, and I know they're not because they're paid to be there, but I am positive they were told to kind of like slow down, and they were trying to kill time between things. But man, they took forever. They're sitting there talking. None of this crap ended up on TV anyway. So it was like, what the heck? Now, there was one part I understood why they waited. Apparently, some huge actor in Japan showed up. And the only reason why I know this, because I don't recognize the man, and I forgot what his name was, but it doesn't matter because I wouldn't have known who it was anyway. All of a sudden, my friends, the Japanese ones, they're like, oh, and now we know where the budget went. And I'm like, wait, what? They're like, why is this person here? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And then my friends actually stopped, turned me around because everybody got up. So I got up like everybody else, and then I was turned around and said, you see that guy? I didn't even have to be pointed to who the person was. And, but apparently he was like the big guns. And so someone had said, so I said, how significant? And all of them are going, significant. And I said, like, scale. It's like, scale? Like Japanese scale? Tom Cruise, George Clooney. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? They're like, yeah, we have no idea why this dude's here. And he apparently was in the booth. Now, anybody that sees the program can figure out who he is, but we didn't know at the time that he was going to be there. And we're like, oh, that's why they were kind of, like waiting. So he gets there, and then of course, I swear, I know it feels that way. I know it probably wasn't, but it was definitely felt like it was a half an hour of just them talking. So I don't know if they were told to kill this time because they were still setting stuff up. I have no idea what was happening. So meanwhile, it's starting to get colder and damp again, and we're like, damn it. So we're like, come on, dudes, it's just like, it's 8 people, let's go, let's do this. So they're like, okay, first competitor, yada yada yada, and then they start going through, and then my glasses start getting drops, like big drops. We're like, oh damn, it's early. So I look over, I was like, say like 10, 30, 11 o'clock. I'm losing track of time. I know it was a lot earlier than it was before, but they're like, damn it, it's here early. And they're still talking and yakking. It's sort of like, dude, do the interviews later. Just do this. I don't care. Nope. Had to do everything I normally does. And then it wasn't even like the first stage assembly line where they were trying to go. Nothing. It was like normal. In fact, I swear there was more space in between. It took longer to get those 8 guys across than it did for everything else. It was just amazing how long it took. So I'm assuming there were some other issues going on, or they couldn't figure out a way to tell this dude to shut up. I have no idea. All I know is that it just started pouring. Now remember, none of us have umbrellas because we weren't allowed to. It was okay because and then somebody ended up bringing umbrellas to cover up, like Kawaguchi and whatever, and we're like, you don't see us on television anyway, so why the hell did you tell us to not... So either way, so I'm sitting with the family, and it's Anastasia's family. Perry's in front of his dad, and the rest of the... Okay, there's this one story that has to be told because it's hilarious. So remember how there's like breaks in between this? Like, I don't know why there were so many. And so, my friend's daughter, Reina, was there. All of my friends were there. And so, Reina is bilingual. So she was basically stolen to translate between the Shinserai and Drew and Brent. And so they're sitting there talking and like, what are they saying? So apparently Kong decided to be an absolute schmuck. But anyway, so he was being an old pervy man, and I don't know what he was doing. I don't remember the exact words. All I know is that it didn't even get translated, and Drew just grabbed Reina and go, stop that! She's like in middle school! Like, dude, you have no shame. And everybody starts laughing because apparently Kong wanted Reina to translate something lewd, or at least inappropriate, and Drew's like defending her honor, and then he looks at me like, what is up with these old people? It was just so funny. It was just so cute because they're all really, really friendly with each other, and everybody really loves Drew. So, but it was just, like that momentary is like, he's in his 40s, dude. It's just like, he's gonna do that. And he's Japanese, and they could get a bit on the raunchy side, and yeah, anything to make a girl blush, which I find hilarious because Reina's like, I got this. It's just like not at all offended. Her mom's like freaking out, like, what the heck are you teaching this child? And Drew's like, Reina, just get out of here. These are old pervy men, just leave them alone. It was just so cute. So of course none of that's on TV, but it's just like, this should give you an idea of how lighthearted it was. So everything was like really, again, it wasn't this big drawn like, oh, drama, whatever. Like what I ended up seeing on TV, it's like, God, this isn't even the same tournament. We had a ball. And yeah, when we got to the parts where people were falling off obstacles because it was raining, I had a sit down talk with both Kong and Anastas. And Kong's like, it's okay, because he knew I was visibly upset when I saw him earlier on, going like, what are you doing here and why aren't you competing? And so I already addressed that on the other video. So we sat down at the third stage, and Anastas gets eliminated. And then so he's like, before you say anything, it's okay. And I'm like, no, it's not. And he goes, yes, it's okay. At least I spared the embarrassment of failing the cliffhanger again. I'm like, are you kidding? He goes, no, I really didn't belong in the third stage. And I know that's him being modest. It was just like, come on. He goes, I'm happy you're upset with me. I am perfectly fine. I did much better than I thought I was going to. He goes, maybe if there weren't another... And he's like, even with the 15 seconds, you would have passed the second stage. He goes, okay, fine, I'll give you that. But I'm okay with where I failed. I didn't fail because it was wet. I failed because I didn't train hard enough. And I'm like, all right. I'm like, you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have to be. He goes, no. Seriously, I didn't get to train all that much. It just, don't worry about that. And I'm like, okay, if you say so. So, what was it? I think Tomo was the last one. Whoever was the last one, they ended up failing. Actually, all of them failed, obviously. Everybody knows the results by now. So, that ended up happening, and of course, doing the interviews. And so I'm like, we're literally getting soaked. Like, it's starting to hit underwear. That's how soaked I was, and it went through sweater and clothing. I'm like, oh god, I'm gonna get sick. I still got another like 2 days in Japan. This is not good. So we ended up leaving, and we're like, we gotta get a taxi. So before everybody does this huge max exit, they hadn't emptied out the seats yet, the bleachers. So we're like, you know what, let's take advantage, grab that taxi and get the hell back. Because there's really not much, and it was pouring at this point. So we did take a couple photos. I don't know how well they came out because it was pouring when this happened. And so it took some photos and whatever, like, it's okay, we're all good, we'll talk to each other, fine, we'll probably see each other in the next couple days, which we ended up not that much. I ended up spending the rest of the couple days with a couple of my friends and other people from Sasuke. But it's like, it's okay, we're good, we're fine. So I get over, and this is what I kept mentioning before, why I'm like really thankful for the production crew, because it was not their fault. So I get over to, like, we're like, we need to figure out, it's like, I had lost my signal because I have a pocket Wi-Fi and I can't call anyway because I'm in Japan. And so they're like, we need to get a taxi. So we're standing around, and one of the production crew, TBS, came over, and they're like, what do you need? It's like, we need a taxi. They're like, get out of the rain. So we went, and they put us in one of the tents, and a couple of them were like, wow, you're still here? And I'm like, of course I'm still here, I'm watching the tournament. He goes, is it over with? I was like, yeah, I just finished. It's like, oh, okay, it's about to get busy now. He's like, yes it is. I was like, okay. Because not all of the production crews there, because remember, they were still half dismantling on one side and then getting all their crap together. So they ended up getting a taxi for us, which was really, really nice. And so they were really, really sweet, and they're like, oh, I hope to see you next year. And I'm like, that's not gonna happen, because but everybody kind of knew that was gonna be my last tournament anyway. But it was just really nice. I was just so happy. So we left, and it's like, yeah, there were some issues with the tournament, like the physical tournament. But I can't blame them for acts of God, literally acts of God. The only 2 things that I was upset about were the 2 Kenji problems and minor quibbles with what happened with some of my friends. But the major anger that came with me was after, when everything was edited. I know half that stuff is political. I still don't like it because I don't think, well, I know the Japanese audience was incensed. They were angry with how that was edited. And so that's an entirely separate, I already did an entire rant video on that when it was fresh in my mind. I haven't actually backed down on that. In fact, as more time goes, the more upset I get about that. So we'll see how 33 goes. It's coming up fairly soon. Application actually closes tonight, so I think by the time the video comes out, this particular video comes out, it would have already been closed, and then Kunoichi gets set up, and then Sasuke gets set up. So, but yeah, I wanted to thank all you guys, because again, I know I sound like a broken record, but it's still, I can't believe that you guys helped me get over there again. I'm just, thank you to Tim to get me all the way out to see the tournament again. Last notice, because that was like an emergency. The first set fell through, and so he ended up, again, springing tickets for both of us. I'm not gonna ask for that again. Holy crap, I'm not that crazy. So thank you, Tim, twice, and the rest of you guys in the IndieGogo campaign. That you guys got me, helped me pay for my hotel, all that transportation, because holy crap, that's actually a lot more expensive than most people give it credit for. Food, and just for when I was there, and it was very, very thankful because I didn't have to sleep in somebody's couch and whatever. Just thank you. So, next couple videos will just be the rest of the days. Monday was basically hangout day with a couple of others. I actually went to see one of the competitors, Narita. He had his family runs a ramen shop. So yeah, ramen dude. Yeah, we got to eat ramen at ramen dude's place. It was cool. And then Tuesday, I actually got to see Grace and Ryosuke from Texas and Tokyo. And then I got back. I had left to the United States on Wednesday. So I'll do those videos. I don't know. I would assume I'll put them either in 2 separate videos or just one big video. I don't know if I have enough coverage for more than that, but I'll find out anyway. So either way, so if you like the series, do the normal YouTube stuff, rate and like and share and all that stuff, so more people get to see it. There's a lot of really cool stuff behind the scenes that I wish more people got to see, because that's the kind of things that I like from Sasuke. The human element. Yeah, the obstacles are fun and whatever, but I like the interactions between people and how they are, and the guys were great, and the competitors, the Americans were fantastic. Drew especially, I spent most of the time by comparison to Casey or Brent. I spent a lot of time with Drew by comparison, and the three of them represented the United States proud. The other internationals, I think there were like 8 countries total. They were fantastic, and it's just a nice family. I just had a couple issues with a couple, but none of them were from the international crew. That was more some people from the Japan side, but I've already ranted about that in my previous video, and that can't be helped. That's just personality clashes. So, but either way, until the next video, thank you so much for listening so far. This is part 8 now, and hopefully 1 or 2 parts to go, and I'll finish the series. Yay! Thanks. Bye-bye.